Hey yo, welcome back to the Daily Bread Culture. This is I myself, Adolphus Savage, kicking it with my boy Ron. You know how we do. We dropping y'all with the gems, daily knowledge, and things like that. So we're just gonna kick it to you with some cool, introspective knowledge right now. Go on, say what's up to the people.
You know who it is, people. It's that guy that you just love, man. Can't wait to get into whatever we got to talk about today, man. I just get so excited when we have these pods. So, all you young men and women, put on your nigger caps and let's go in for a good ride here today.
All right now. So this is how we're gonna kick it off today. We want to talk about relationships, but a specific portion of a relationship. We're gonna go ahead and bust it down and talk about dating people with kids. And I know this is a very touchy issue. We actually had something like this on the other podcast. I'm affiliated with the Committee podcast. And one of the questions that was asked was, how many is too many as far as kids? So on this one, we're just going to talk about, what to do just in case anyway. Now, I know it's two sides to the story. So on one end, you have your men, so women dating men with kids, and oftentimes people they'll kind of excuse it because usually the guy is not really as hands on. I know it's unfair because I know we know some dudes personally that have joint custody or full custody and get their kids quite often, but typically, the kids aren't with you Monday through Friday. You may get them every other weekend or whatever like that. So I know it's a double standard on our end. Dating a woman typically who's going to have kids, more than likely she's going to have some sort of custody of the kids, if not full custody. Typically the kids are going to live with her, so it's always a different dynamic. I'll go ahead and start it out with some of my own personal experiences. Man, I remember I met this wonderful girl, Kenya, and she had a son, just one kid, and he was a cool kid. But honestly, Ron, the kid didn't like me, man. And it made for a pretty interesting time. Like, I don't know if he just flat out didn't like me, because from what I've heard from other people, he's just not a people person, period. Like, if you come by the house, if it's the mailman, if it's the Comcast guy or Spectrum, if you're here, pizza delivery, whomever, he doesn't really fuck with people. And so, like, I would come over there. Me and her, we were in a relationship. I come over there. He usually like hide out in the room until I go and do different stuff like that. And I was just like, hey, whatever. I mean, I know you don't want to really bring your kids around everybody that you date, so it was no big deal. As we started to go out more and more and more and build that relationship more, she would try to like bring him out to kind of have us to interact with one another, and he still wouldn't fuck with me. And I'd be like, what the hell is wrong with this little booger? Like, how you gonna be dating somebody and their kids just don't like you? And that's like something that I went through for quite a while. Ultimately, it even got to the point where one day, this was like after a night together, I was staying over to her house. I'm in the bed with her, not trying to be too graphic, but I don't remember if she had on clothes back then. She might have had on like a little slip or something. I might have had on a pair of underwear. I may have not. But I remember waking up on like a Friday or a Saturday or maybe a Sunday. And like, I didn't know that she didn't have like a door lock on the master bedroom. So I guess one of his rituals was to come jump in the bed with her and wake her up. So, I feel somebody hit the bed. I'm rolling over. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And he's in there. And then it just created a really interesting moment. Like, our whole time dating, I think we dated like 5 or 6 months total, maybe a little longer. It wasn't that long. But the whole time with us together, like, this dude, he may have spoke to me like once or twice, and he was forced to do it. That left a bad taste in my mouth about dating people with kids. So Ron, what's your take on that? I mean, have you ever dated anybody with kids? I mean, I know you're a father at this point. I mean, What's your point? What's your take?
Actually, never dated somebody with kids, man. I always was like, and here's the reason why I kind of always did the Heisman to women with kids. Like, please don't take offense to it. You got to think about it. I met my wife when I was 20, so I was a young man. So my thoughts on that was like, if she got kids, I don't want to deal with it because only experience I ever seen with it was my own brother. So it was like, man, my brother didn't seem too grateful. My brother was like, he was kind of hard to deal with. It seemed like for my dad. So I was like, man, I can only imagine what it'd be like if I had to be someone who was out there on the dating scene, and you had to get with a woman who has a child, and the child doesn't really like you, and that would be just like, I don't know, it'd just be so awkward. I do see a lot of people that say they talk to women who have kids, and they talk about how they can't stand the kids. And I'm like, man, shouldn't that be already in like some of the first things you think about for getting with somebody who has a child? Like what kind of process do you want to go through to say, okay, I'm gonna date her? But you kind of really dating her and the kid to an extent.
Yeah, you are. It's a package. Mm-hmm.
But now you got these shitty women out here don't take care of the kids, and it's really grandma baby. But that's
yeah, but those are traditionally few and far between. I mean, for the most part, if you mess with the reasonable girl, she'll have her stuff together and typically have the children too.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's one of the things, man. I just always wondered, like, how is it like dealing with that situation? I just remember like another situation I seen with the stepdad or friend or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's already a kid situation. It always do seem like the boyfriend or baby, not baby daddy, boyfriend or the new husband, like stepdaddy. It do seem like they be kind of beefing with the kids though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's definitely a balance of power there.
Yeah,
and I think it only gets worse when you get older, just depending on how it goes. I know, like, I have another, I mean, like with my father, I know he married a woman with kids, and it was always a little difficult trying to bridge and intertwine the relationships between everybody, because when I was introduced to my two stepsisters at the time, I was maybe 15. One of the stepsisters was 16. The other one was like 12 or 13. So they're already on their, they're already a little older. And then the way that I was introduced, they had a 3-bedroom. The two girls had their own separate rooms. When I was brought along, one of the younger girl had to merge and live with the older girl. And of course, I had my own room. And I remember they would never say anything publicly about it, but they were actually pretty pissed about that, like having to share a room when they were used to having their own. So it's just like a lot of things that you have to do and a lot of intricate details. I'm like, I remember for me, of course, I dated a lot of women. I'm going to give you two more. One of them I'm not going to name. The other one I forgot her name. The one I'm not going to name, I like her style as a parent. So what she did, me and her were more so fooling around. And we'll get into all that another time. But so we were just kind of fooling around. And she introduced me to her kids as a friend first. Now, I do think that we were thinking, and I know I was thinking about potentially seeing where things could go, just because she was just such a cool person, a cool soul. But ultimately things didn't work out. And I remember she was a little upset that she even introduced me to the kids in the first place, and it didn't work out because, me and the kids, we had a real good time together. Like, she has two boys, and they were real cool. Like, and I kind of felt bad that things didn't really go the way that I thought they would go. And that's another thing that you have to watch out for if you're a woman or a man, introducing them. That for her, she introduced me as a friend. Let's say if she would have introduced me as a boyfriend. Okay, I'm here today, quickly, I'm gone tomorrow. Kids are like, well, damn, what happened to my boyfriend? That fast, And maybe they're thinking, hey, he left because of us. So it's a lot of little things. And then another one, this was a girl I had met. I talked to her for a few months. This was the most kids I've ever dealt with a girl, and she had 3. So with her three, I met her. She was cool. Physically, she was what I like. She was a couple of years older than me at the time. That didn't matter. She was trying to move so fast because she had been looking to meet another guy that was close to her age that didn't have kids and that, you know, was kind of on the straight and narrow, wasn't really on the dope boy thing. And like she was trying to move so fast. Like I'm talking about, we had been talking maybe a few weeks, and she was already, you know, talking about moving in together, talking about being together for a long time, marriage. I'm like, whoa, I've only like chilled with you one time at this point, you know, like hold your horses a little bit. But those are just things that you have to look for. I mean, ultimately, the fact that she was moving so fast pushed me away because I really, at the time, I was young in my career and I was young in general. I was a lot less mature than I am now. And it's hard to ask a person under 25 with no kids, very little responsibility to step in and be a step parent.
Do the stepdaddy. Do the stepdaddy. Do the
Hey,
stepdaddy.
But
You ain't my daddy. Shut
mhm.
up.
But it's really hard, like to think about that, man. Like okay, you said when you first met your wife, you met her at 20.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, I'm just speaking hypothetically here, but let's say if you had met someone else when you were 19 and they already had two kids, maybe they had them younger, like 15 and 16.
Be
They already
honest.
have their two kids.
Be honest with you. I was young. I was the original 21 Savage. You know what I'm saying? I
All
wasn't even
right.
21 yet. I was already savage. You know, like if she would have had a kid, I'd have been like, I'm gonna call you back. And then, she still probably waiting on that phone call. You know what I'm saying? She might have got like cardwells and spite. Now, they done kept going about their business, but I wasn't trying to be involved with nobody that had no kids when I was single, man. Like, that was just like a no-no to me. It's just like, I ain't trying to be no stepdaddy, and I ain't trying to go shoot hoops with your kid. I ain't trying to do none of that shit. Like, I ain't playing no PlayStation with your ass, none of that.
Okay,
Like,
but let's go ahead and dive into a more serious question for you.
yeah.
And once again, these are all hypothetical, but let's say if something did happen with your current situation and you were forced to be back out on the scene, how would you feel about it? I mean, we and you know how your age, so you know finding a woman without kids is going to be few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would be your thoughts if you were now having to go out there? Just hypothetical.
If I had to hypothetically go back out there, I'm gonna be like Floyd Money Mayweather. I'm gonna be sticking and moving and moving and moving and moving. I'm talking about weaving. You know how you seen them clips of Floyd Mayweather when he boxing? He be, ah, ah,
Yeah.
ah. Yeah, I'm gonna be just like that. I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna poop poop. There you go, baby. Yep, yep. And then nope, 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 nope. I'm gonna be like a magician. I ain't trying to. Nah, I'm cool. I still ain't trying to be nobody's step pops. I'm cool on that, man. I passed. Like, I mean, I'd rather be a single dad for the rest of my life than talking about being somebody's stepdad. I just would never, that was nothing I never dreamed of. I try to get close to my dreams as possible. And so, just one of them type of things. I don't care who it is. I'm cool. I ain't trying to bond with your kids. I ain't trying to give them no advice. I ain't trying to go pick the little nigga up from practice. I ain't trying to, like, hell no. I got my own kids, and that's good enough, man. I ain't trying to be somebody else's father. I'm cool.
So, like I said, it would even be harder. I mean, I know like a handful of women that are out there without kids that would even be our range, in our range, because we don't want to be out here pulling our Kellys, no pun intended. But I mean, I answer for myself, and I'm answering in all seriousness. If it was me, I could go out there and date a woman with children, but she'd have to have a lot of stuff on point. Like to where basically I'm just an added benefit and I'm not like, I wouldn't want to be responsible for taking care of the kids, not for a long time. Because I mean, it's like, you're being introduced to them. If you be with them for a year or two, then comes the question of discipline. Then comes the question of, okay, well, like for me, one of the main killers for me is the baby daddy or the ex-husband or ex-fiance, whatever. I mean, they're still gonna be a part of this child's life, and they're probably still gonna be trying your current girl.
Mm-hmm. Anybody got time for that shit? Like, just to
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you, that's why I told you I be Money Mayweather out here, man. Ain't too many times I compare myself to him, but in that situation, I be Money Mayweather. Like, just imagine him in that fight in that ring, somebody throwing them punches, he be back there, and then he nod his head, no, that's me. I'm trying to tell you, you wanna be a father, my son? I'm good on that, man. Like that's just one of them things I can't see myself doing, man. I can't bend that rule for myself. I don't care how sweet you try to make it. I'm cool on it. I think I'd rather just be a single old Joe with two kids out here. I mean, I tell you what. What's funny is I feel like one of the other situations that I did see uh with having someone come into a household. My aunt was almost like a second mom to me. Like really, all my aunties are kind of like extra moms to me, like in my family. So I was with this particular aunt a lot because my cousin, he is like, me and him 1 year apart, and me and him always were together like brothers. So, when I had to go to church as a kid, it was this strange dude that was at church that always used to be staring over in the direction where we was at. I'm talking about this strange looking look. Just I was like, man, that guy gave me the creeps. I'm like, man, what's wrong with this dude? He always standing over there. He look crazy and shit. And so I remember one day after church, my auntie was like, hey, I want y'all to meet somebody. So we at the house.
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough, man, that strange looking guy walk up in the damn house. And that's the guy my auntie wanted to introduce us to. Fast forward, that wound up being her husband, now ex-husband.
Damn.
But yeah, I got a little cousin out the deal, but damn, he was about a piece of shit. That he wasn't the greatest person in the world either. He didn't know how to be around kids. He didn't know how to treat kids, and he really was like, it was a real nigga. Like that's all I can say. And I don't mean real nigga in no street terms. I'm just talking about real nigga as in like
ain't taking care of business. Yeah.
Yeah, his money is his money. He ain't worried if y'all ass ain't ate. He ain't taking you nowhere. He don't give a damn. He don't give a damn about nothing but himself, and that's what he was. Like, he was just a terrible dude, man. That was just one of them funny stories. I just remember how it was. Me and my cousin in the summertime, he'll come boss us around, go cut the yard, and go do this, go do that, wash my truck, wash your
Oh
truck.
hell no.
Yeah, like stupid shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he was a true asshole, man. I can remember that like yesterday, man. So all my experiences with stepdads and shit like that, they ain't never really seemed too positive. So I can't ever see myself want to be that person.
I don't think I can either, but I think that it's something that has to be understood and learned because a lot of the times I don't know, man. It's tough. Like I remember what my mom. I did have like a stepdad, and then once I was already grown, my mom got married again to her current husband and my sister's father. So I'll talk about the guy that was actually my stepdad. They married when I was a lot younger, and I'm not gonna go too deep into details about some things that happened just for the fact that I know some people might be listening or have reserve a certain feeling. But like honestly, I didn't know my stepdad John was a really good guy. Really good guy. And like I didn't know until I was like recently some of the sacrifices that he even had did for me. And it's like, he never asked for any admiration, any handshakes, any high fives, or anything like that. I respected him, but I never knew that. Like I never knew at some of the stuff he did. Like my mom used to tell me at the time she was in the military, and I used to go back and forth between my mom and my dad. I always thought that my dad paid for it or my parents went half. She was like, nah, John would pay for it because he wanted you to have that relationship with your father. And I used to be like, damn, because I can kind of remember, and not trying to put my father out there, but of course, you're a jilted lover at this point. He didn't like John at all. And he always used to, you better not call him daddy and all that stuff. But it's like some things that he had done for me. Like, honestly, when I was little, John gave me like a real cool gift I ain't even asked for. Like, I had no desire at all for this type of gift, but he spent like $200 on like a race car for me. That thing was so tight. I used to play that thing all the time. And he was just a really good guy to me. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I hate that they didn't work out, but if that was more so because of distance, he ended up being stationed out of the country. My mom didn't really want to uproot me and take me there. But I feel like if you're going to be a step parent, you have to really make sure you're selfless, because I do know a lot of guys that aren't step parents that are actual fathers and are selfish. I know people that are mothers and they're selfish. And it's like, to be a parent, and granted, I know I'm speaking from my inexperience, but I have parents, I have friends that have kids. In order to be a great parent, you have to be selfless. And I think if you're going into that stepfather role, you have to do that too. I'll give an example. There had been a few times when I was with the girl Kenya, and I mean, I'm not going to go into too much of detail with that, but there would be times where I'd be out. I know her son was there. I'm picking up food for us. I'd make sure I get him something too. If I was going to the store or doing something, I'd make sure that he was taken care of as well. What does he like to snack on? What does he like to do? So it's kind of like, if you're going to be willing to accept that role, you have to be selfless. You have to, because if it's any other way, it's not going to work. You can't go into a situation, and I give another example. I remember my stepmom, bruh, she would pick her kids up from school. I had to walk from school. Okay, now granted, my school wasn't that far away like their school. I had to wait until they cooked dinner. Right, they cook dinner. I'd be out of school and probably home right at 2:00, maybe before 2:00. They wouldn't get settled for dinner till 6, so I couldn't eat from 2 to 6. They would come in the house after being picked up from school with McDonald's, with Taco Bell, with Raising Cane's, with this, with this, with that, all kinds of food. And I would literally, because at the time I was old enough to know better, and I'd be like, man, how the fuck you gonna buy them food and then not buy me food? You know what I'm saying? So I'm up here starving my ass off, and they come in with food just to smiling and stuff like that. That makes a terrible parent. Now, I didn't want to really go too deep into that, because I know even though those are terrible things to do, that's still my brother's mom. So I still have respect for her for being his mother. But bruh, it used to be some cold shit that goes on. And to me, if you're going to be a step parent, you can't treat kids like that. You kind of almost have to treat them like they're your own, or at least like they're a family member.
Yeah.
Maybe a cousin.
Some of the things I seen though, like, okay, like my own dad, my dad did really good by my brother. My oldest brother is not my dad's biological son, but shit, my dad took well care of my brother, man. It's still do to this day. My brother's 5 years older than me, and sure enough, if my brother needed something, my dad ain't gonna leave him out in no ditch, left like fucked over or nothing like that. He really do come through for him. It's just I usually can see sometimes my dad facing my brother may do some things that probably was stupid. We boys, so of course, as boys we gonna do stupid shit, and so I could just see it in my dad's face. Sometimes when my brother was a lot younger, doing stupid stuff, and it's like even now, if my brother do something, if he need my dad's help, he gonna be there. But it's almost like, damn, I could only imagine, like, nigga, this ain't even my kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, once you get married to somebody, it becomes y'all kid. But at the same time, in the back of your mind, it's like, hey, man, like, this ain't even mine. And I got to go through this shit. But, and my aunt, that was like my mom, she goddamn took care of everybody goddamn kids. She, like, I used to be sitting back like, man, what the hell is she doing? Like, she would do the opposite. How you were saying, like, you can't, your brothers or whatever come to the house with the McDonald's. my auntie buying everybody goddamn McDonald's. Matter of fact, my auntie heart was so big, she'd be buying the kids across the street some goddamn McDonald's and stuff like that. Like,
oh yeah, she
yeah,
had the talent.
she had a car full. Like, we going out of town. Next thing you know, who the hell is that? Like, yeah, that's such and such from across the street. Like, you know, she be trying to take care of everybody. So not only was she like a stepmom, you know, a really good stepmom at that. Like her stepchildren, that she had, they still call her mom. Goddamn it, and you know, just because of how good she treated them. Same thing with my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet you if my dad would ask my brother to change his last name, I think he would have did it. You know what I'm saying? Just because he know my dad took well care of him and helped out with him, cars, making sure that he had money. You know what I'm saying? As a young man, it wasn't nothing he did not have. But for the most part, me seeing that shit, I'm like, man, I can't see myself doing this shit. I don't know if my patience will hold up. Like, you know, so that's why I tell myself, like, hey, when I get older, I think that might be one of the situations I might just go and step around. I'm like, I'm cool. Because you got to really be wanting to do a lot and really have the patience to put up with somebody's child and do for them. Like, because definitely if you don't want to be bothered, you can't turn that shit on and off like a damn light switch. Once you step into it, you know, you in it.
And it's also like even if you're having an issue with the mom, you still can't even take it out on that other kid. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility in dating women with children, or even vice versa. Because, like I said, the key thing is being selfless, being a person that's a giver, being a person that's a nurturer, that's going to take care, and not holding the fact that it's not biologically your child against them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know my experience. Now I have a lot of other stories too. Cause shoot, I didn't been around that yard a few times. And I mean, some of them it was good, and then sometimes, like, truth be told, you'll be in a situation with someone, and you'll actually begin to miss the child, you know, because maybe you've been around them enough. And like, I'll even say, like, there is a former girlfriend of mine that if she posts new pictures up of the child, you know, I'll still like, because that child was a part of my life too, you know, and it's just, you know, you just want to know what's going on with them, you know, man, because it's like, even though me and your mom worked out, I have no ill will towards you.
Right.
You know?
At what point though do people feel like it's a good time to say, all right, here's the person I'm dating or whatever? Like, cause I mean, nowadays when you think about it, what's crazy? Like, I read, you know, I'm a little bit of a social media lurker at times. You know, you got the popular page, so the popular page kind of puts you in people's business automatically. And so a lot of these young kids, I don't say kids, young adults per se, they already say that they want to be baby mamas and baby fathers. They're not really speaking into the tune of talking about getting married. And so it's like, shit, how many baby daddies and baby mamas, or how many kids down the line will they have? And then, like, how would that type of dynamic work in the future? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think it'll be any stepdad. I think there's gonna be a bunch of kids out here with nobody to look out for them. But you know, circling the wagon, like, when is a good time for people to be like, all right, let me let you meet Joe, or you know what I'm saying, or let me let you meet uh Tina or whoever the hell she is. Like, at what point do they say, all right, you can meet the kids, and like, how does that shit work? Like, that's the crazy part. I don't even understand that type of dynamic.
Man, that's a good question. For me, I would think honestly that it can't be a time frame. It's just when it feels right to do so. I don't think that you should rush to do it, because that's one piece of credit that I'll give my mom is, now, although she has been married twice, I only knew like a few dudes that she even dated. A lot of times it'd be like after the fact anyway. They have been together for a while, or but as I got older, there was a lot of guys that were trying to court her, but sometimes she'll just go ahead and friend zone them, nothing else or something like that. But she would wait a while before I meet these guys. And I think that that's pretty good. I mean, the quickest that I can remember would probably be my sister's father. I met him a few months after they had started dating, and she didn't, like, this is my friend or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? When is a good time?
To me, honestly, man, I think the best time is when I think discussions of merging households. Like I think that's probably like the best time. Like before it happens, maybe a month or two before it happens. Hey, let me let you meet somebody. We're gonna go out to eat, and then sit down and meet this person finally or whatever. Not just moving in and all of a sudden, whose stuff is this? Like, but I think whenever I think it seems like it's taking a serious turn, I guess, and y'all for sure that y'all won't be around each other for a little bit, or if it's an engagement of any sort, I guess that would probably be a good one. I mean, I guess nowadays, I guess if they hit the follow button, I guess that's when they get to meet them. I think that's kind of how it works now, but shit. I guess if they put the heart eyes underneath their picture, they get to meet the babies or something nowadays. But I think that's how it should be. I guess if an engagement or y'all planning to moving in a couple months, all right, let me let you go ahead and meet my badass kids, or however that shit works. And do they meet the baby daddy and shit like that? That's the other question. Like, does that happen? Do the baby daddies mean? What the fuck is that like? Is that like one of them damn boxing matches when you see Mayweather and McGregor face to face? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? I
Bro,
used
I
to
can't even answer that because I mean, luckily, I don't think I've ever really. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've ever really met a baby's daddy before. I don't even know how I would act in that situation. Honestly, I mean,
yeah, damn bout.
mhm. I don't even know how I would act in that situation. But I mean, I don't think it's a time frame. But I will say, I know the one girl that I talked about with the three kids. Man, I met her kids kind of quick too. Like, and I'm just like, ooh, shit. You know what I mean? Oh man, that was a crazy situation. I'm just trying to just reach back into my time vault and just kind of think of some of the different women that I've dated and some of the things like that. And yeah, I don't recall meeting a baby's father. I think that would be just a little weird for me. And that's one of the dynamics I don't look forward to because once again, I know one of the chicks that I used to talk to, I mean, her baby daddy was still like he wouldn't even hide the fact that he was trying her.
Mm.
So it's I don't know, man. It's a tough one. I mean, to me, if I was in the situation that I was the baby's father, I wouldn't want to meet a dude until probably after they were engaged. Then or they've been together long enough, and maybe they are starting to travel, or you can kind of tell, okay, yeah, they're getting a little serious. Because other than that, you don't. I'm just going to think about it from my perspective. If I don't want my kids to be, meeting, oh, this the fourth, fifth nigga you didn't run home this month or what? I mean, not month, but year. It
Now you
was a
said it right
month.
the
Ooh,
first time. That's how
hey,
it
back
goes down.
page. But I just think it's appropriate to make sure that this person is solid, make sure that this relationship is going to be solid. I mean, if you talk about spending a year with somebody, even though a year flies by, that's enough of an investment to where you kind of know. And then I think you can meet the kids and the baby daddy. I mean, I know from the kids, depending on how many you have, it might be kind of hard, because if y'all meeting up at the crib, maybe grandma's watching the kids or friends babysitting or something like that, they might see you on accident, or just whatever. I
Mm.
mean, I'm not sure of how I feel about introducing them as a friend or, oh my God, uncle is the worst.
Cause, cause how awkward is it if the kids tell the other parent first? Like, cause the kids gonna tell they side of the story, and if the kids tell it, how is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine how it work out? Like, if the kids will tell mama that daddy talking to somebody else or whoever this person
And
is.
then what's even worse than that? What about if, like, if y'all's relationship with the baby mother and the baby fathers, or the fiance or wife or whatever husband, what happens if that was your last relationship with them, and maybe the breakup wasn't even that long ago? Because truth be told, I think it takes years to really get that. I mean, I know different people, they can get over stuff pretty quick, but it would truly take some years to get over it. And then here we are 2 months after our breakup. To me, that's still enough of a buffer zone where we could potentially get it back right and get back together. And
Mm-hmm.
my kids telling me that you already done bought a nigga around, I'm gonna be like, man, what the fuck?
But that's what I'm saying. See how that sound? Like, okay, the kids go tell the other parent. Like, how does that look? That shit, it sounds like drama written all over it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Definitely the kids, don't like it, or they pushing for daddy to be back, or whatever the case may be. If they know they got a daddy that's a hell raiser, or mama that's a hell raiser, could you imagine how that is? Even if they could have been broken up for a year or two, like I could just only imagine like how that shit plays out. Like it has to be kind of crazy, like a crazy scenario. Like that's why I'm like, do she tell the baby daddy or baby mama first, or like how does that work? Like, do how do you even tell them? And like, do they even give a damn? Or like, it's so many questions I have when it comes down to that. Cause it just seems so awkward.
Shoot, that's something I would like some additional detail on as well, because that is a good question to ask. I mean, I hope I'm never in that situation, man. But if so, I can only pray that I'm mature about it. Like that I'm mature about it. Hey, man, I come to you man to man. Hey, man, just don't disrespect my kids. Because then, I mean, one of the other things we haven't touched on, like I said earlier, about the discipline portion.
Oh man.
Once they've been together for a while and they married, what about if this man trying to discipline your kids? Like,
Oh man.
shit, that them some real conversations.
Yeah, I think he gonna get disciplined. You know how it go. Like I think a lot of people ain't don't really play that about that. Um, now they got one of them daddies that ain't shit, that ain't even there. Like I mean, and if you done been there for a while, I mean that's kind of almost like either if them kids that bad where they tearing your shit up, or the mom ain't really doing much about it. I guess you got to make a decision that you probably need to either leave that heifer alone, or you might have to go ahead and take some, take take and go ahead and rough their ass up real quick. But of course, them not your kids, so that's how you wind up in jail and you know getting a little time as far as sitting sitting in the jail cell because you done took little Jimmy and then slammed him on his head for scratching up your car on purpose and put
Mm-hmm.
put fuck you on your car or something like that. Or putting sugar in your gas tank, or all the crazy shit that these like that step kids do, putting your toothbrush in the toilet. You
Oh
know,
hell no.
all that. They do nasty shit. Like so I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that plays praise and planks um on their stepfathers and shit like that, man. Yeah.
Shit, I would hope not, man. For the sake of myself.
I'd be having a new toothbrush every day. But
Mm.
you can only imagine, man. Some of these kids are hateful. Some of them they might not be hateful. They might just be being treated bad. Because of course, male or female, there's people out there that just don't want nobody else to take time from them being with the person that they with, and they get jealous of even kids. That's terrible. And that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes people just got to court they significant other or whoever they trying to be with a lot better. Nowadays, I don't even see how that's done because it's like shit. It's all done through the internet mostly now.
Hell yeah.
Nowadays, I think it looks like if you interact, people don't interact with each other no more. Like it's strange now if you just say, "Hey, how you doing?" People look at you crazy, like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, you know what I'm saying? So, people so used to being inside their screen and their phone. So I can only imagine most dating now is happening through their internet, work, maybe, um, school if you're in school,
church. Well, that's always at church. You know, there's a lot of fucking going on in churches.
It sure is.
And mosque and all that shit. You know, prearranged marriages according to what kind of religion you're in. But yeah. So I can only imagine how this shit goes, man. My mind always float off on that. But like, as far as disciplining the kids, if I had to be in a situation like that, like say if I bumped my head pretty hard and you know, like all my thoughts went away, I decided that, you know, if I got dumped, then I'm back on the scene. If I had a kid acting up, I'm probably gonna beat their ass, man. And matter of fact, I'm probably gonna beat their daddy ass too, because their kid's so goddamn bad. Like, you know, like he might need his ass whooped. You know, matter of fact, she might need her ass whooped too. You know, like if I had to give everybody down whooping, but when according to what's going on, these kids so goddamn bad now. You about to get a whole family whooping, line all their ass up. My mom was a champion ass beater. My dad was too. They had the damn paddle. You know what I'm saying? Like shit. We grew up, we got whoopings, you know what I'm saying? So in the household I grew up in, you got your ass whooped. My dad had that pledge paddle. A nigga thought I was a goddamn Q dog out this motherfucker. I done got my ass paddle so much. Niggas out that bit, nigga shit. Damn. My ass said cap or something on that motherfucker. Q whatever, but hey, I tell you what, one of these little badass kids tried me and I was a stepdad, I'm beating their ass. I ain't gonna lie. And their daddy come step to me, I'm gonna beat his ass too. Granddad, I'm gonna beat his ass, and I'm gonna whoop the whole family ass till they get their mind right. On my how we beat asses. That's what we do. Anyways, man. So I think we pretty much got on this topic pretty damn good. Any more statements you have in pertains to into the baby daddy slash not baby daddy stepdaddy slash stepfather role?
Nah, I don't have anything else to say on it, man. Honestly, I think we went in pretty good on it.
Now you tell me, man. Well, I want to give a good salute to everybody that's out there that's stepdadding it up. Salute to you if you really out there doing your thing for these kids. Even though you know you may not have biologically made them, if you really out there doing that, hey, hats off to you. Because it really do take a hell of a man to take care of somebody else's responsibility, or just to even step in and you know do that. So salute to y'all, and then even for females that's out there taking care of other people's other men's other women's kids, excuse me. Salute to y'all too. I know it's a lot of women out there that take care of kids that do not belong to them. It may be a cousin, a sister, kids, or even a kid that they might have adopted. I just see women that take care of a lot of kids and do right by them. So salute to y'all too. And so I guess you know this is the daily bear culture. You know, of course, I like to always say we just two broke niggas in the Pinto hustling for that rent though. See where my co-host at. Let him get his little closing remarks off. Y'all know my little social medias, Instagram, classic.
Yeah, well, definitely. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he's back. He's back, people. I was gonna go ahead and wrap this bitch up.
You can go on there and wrap it up, man. I don't have no more salutes or nothing like that. We good to go.
Yeah, I was hitting that Quavo. I was about to wrap it up then.
Wrap it up then.
But
look like a little bamboo.
Nah, you got all that, man. But yeah, y'all follow me on the social sites, and I'm gonna go and get over here to Adolphus, man. Let him close this bad boy out.
Yeah, well, I don't really have much to shout out today. I know that we're going to be talking into the future, so of course, shout out to everybody that's been down with us since day one. We're the Daily Bread. I'm Adolphus Savage, and I'm signing out.
Yep.